Okay, we are live and we are a couple minutes late. We had to reboot some things. We had a camera handshake issue with the Blackmagic ATEM Mini Pro, and so we had to restart the computer and jockey things around. And looks like we are copacetic. So there's camera one, and there's the lovely Lady Brianna in the house. The lovely Lady Brianna
I
is
think
in
I
the
gotta move
house.
over here.
She is in extreme pain, but she is going to try to do a show anyway. She's gonna power on and try
This
to
is
do a
in the
live show.
way. This is in the way.
That's in the way of the camera shot.
Yeah,
It's out now, right? Oh, it's still in the
it's
camera
in
shot.
there.
Oh, interesting. I hadn't noticed that before. Um, so when we repointed the cameras, that is in the way. So
Yeah.
what you're gonna have to do is move it that direction. So maybe you need to, can that mic stand kind of come towards us some? Is there any room there for it to come towards us?
Okay.
Good. Okay. And now adjust this, and then you should be able to move the monitor that direction. We're doing some adjustment on the fly here. No, just the monitor. Leave the box there. Just move the monitor over until it gets out of that shot. Keep
That's.
going. Keep going to that way. Move it that way. Keep going a little more.
But there's literally nothing
You can't. Well, okay. Move the box a little bit more. Then move the whole thing. There.
there.
Now how's it?
That's better.
It's out of the shot. Okay. Adjustment. An on the fly adjustment. Good thing you caught that. Of course, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really block that
We would have
much.
seen it either way.
Yeah. And so No G is in the house. Is he a subscriber on
I'm
your channel?
trying to copy the link of the YouTube.
You have to tweet this.
Yeah, I
Yes.
haven't tweeted this.
Triforce Rich is in the house. This is the most fascinating duo on the interweb. Thank you for that. And winter is
you.
coming. And Triforce Rich, you don't really have much of a winter there, but it gets chilly at night, I think, in Los Angeles. And so one thing that I like to do this time of the year is I like to wear vests occasionally. And believe it or not, this vest will button. Okay, but vests, it's kind of hip and cool just to have them unbuttoned. Just watch any John Wayne movie, right? And so
It's open all the time.
so I've got 3 different shade brown vests. 2 of them are Schott, and one of them, that's SCHOTT, I think is how you spell it.
Yeah.
They're out of New York. These are all made in the USA. And then the other one is Willis and Geiger, that is also made in the USA. But warning, a lot of the newer Willis and Geiger vests look identical to this, but they're made in China. So watch out. Watch out. But I always recommend getting the stuff that's made in these United States. And this shirt is, of course, by Willis and Geiger, one of the original safari shirts that they made back in the day. And it is also made in these United States. It's a very tightly woven Egyptian cotton, which really blocks the wind when it's a little breezy, right? This is great to have in that kind of environment where it stops that wind. Yet
Today,
it's still,
today was breezy.
yeah, yet it still breathes real
I
well.
was wearing this jacket.
Now that jacket
LL
that Bree is
Bean.
leaning against, that came from LL Bean. And back in the day, they made some really good stuff in these United States. And I think the only thing they make now is their duck shoes. I think those might still be made in USA, but I think just about everything else is made in overseas. But the coat that she has a button-in wool liner. It's really cool. She'll show some details here in a minute. But we did a little research on LL Bean, and because I told her that back in the day it was a thing that the preppies from Ivy League schools would make road trips to LL Bean and in the middle of the night because it was open 24/7, 365. Their flagship store, LL Bean,
They still
up
do.
in Maine and Freeport, Maine, I think. And so people would road trip up there from like Boston or from the different Ivy League schools, and they would go on a shopping spree to LL Bean, and they had some really cool stuff. And so that was back in the day. And so she's got a coat that dates from that time period. This is pre-internet, guys. And they were one of the
And
first companies, by the way, to
book.
do big time mail order business. Them and Sears Roebuck, right? And so really cool stuff. And Brianna's just started reading the Preppy Handbook, and they're mentioned. LL Bean is mentioned in there prominently, of course.
Burberry jacket is in
And
there
of course,
too.
the Burberry coat, which is in the
Burberry coat.
thumbnail of this video. I'm wearing the Burberry, and of course, all the other clothes that we own are all mentioned in the book. And of course, I owned most of them before the
Made
book
in
even came out.
USA.
So there's how that whole thing works.
You already knew the deal.
Let's see, Craig. How often would you buy clothing back in the day? You have so many clothes. I imagine they were weekly purchases. Okay, so we'll talk about that. And happy Monday. And what's up, Rich? See you in a couple. Okay. Triforce Rich, can we get an official definition of the time frame back in the day? In my head, I assume 1977 to 1996, roughly. More like 1978 to, like, let's say 1987, mid 80s, up in that time frame. That was the time frame when I was building my wardrobe. And most of the wardrobe was built by the late 80s. And so I at that point I didn't have to buy much of anything. And because most of the items that I bought, of course, are timeless and very well made and hold up great. A lot of them I still have to this day, including this shirt that I'm wearing. I bought this in about 1978. I actually bought a dozen of these, and I only have two more that are in really good shape. I've basically worn out the others. So I also bought about a dozen of the Egyptian cotton safari shirts from Banana Republic when they were going out of business. Well, not going out of business. They were bought out, and the original company was selling out all the Egyptian cotton stuff that they had at really good deals. So I bought like a dozen of those shirts, and I bought some of the pants they had that were also Egyptian cotton. So anyway, and so that was when I refer to back in the day. That's generally the time frame that I'm referring to, that I have personal experience with. Okay, so that deals with that. Okay, so Bree, let's show this. Speaking of back in the day, here's a coat that dates from that time frame, and this is this fits Bree very nicely. And what size is it? Turn it around so they can see the label.
It's a small.
It's a small, and so this was bought for a female friend of mine who's no longer around, but was left in my closet. And so this actually fits the lovely Lady Bree. So let's cut to this camera here. And Bree was wearing it today because it was breezy and cool. And this it's a heavy canvas outer, and then it has a button-in liner that is wool and has a smooth, like, acetate lining against the skin, but it's got wool on the inside. And so that snaps out. But that's the kind of thing that LL Bean made back in the day. They don't offer it anymore. So yeah, don't think that you're going to go to their catalog and you're going to find this this particular coat. But I think it's just cool. It's the type of thing that you would see a preppy girl wearing on a hunt, on a fall day when they're going on a fox hunt or something like that. She might have something like that out in the field, out in the thicket. So there you go, the lovely Lady Brianna in an original LL Bean made in USA coat. It says made in USA in it, right?
Yes.
I think it does, yeah. So that's how we did that. And Rocket Raccoon is in the house. Burberry factory shop is only 3 miles from my house here in the UK. Always had a good plan. I guess it means plan to visit at this time of the. Yeah, I mean, if you can pick up a deal, and again, back in the day, they had the fully lined Burberry trench coats that were 100% cotton. And then they had a camel hair and wool liner that buttoned in. That was a full liner that went down the sleeve and so forth. And I remember literally in 1978, when I got my first Burberry coat, the fully lined version like that was $1,300. That was
Whoa.
then, and that
That
was
was
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
money
money.
then. Yeah, and so yeah, but they I don't think they even offer that coat anymore, unfortunately. Craig, R-Wags in the house. Craig, howdy. I'm in Ace Hardware right now buying some tools, hopefully USA made. Do your best. Yes, R-Wags, do your best to search out the good stuff. Let's take this ticker
Made
off
in
just so that
USA.
they can see more of us. There we go. And okay, so before we forget, let's show them. Let's get their opinion on this. Is the dark brown vest by Schott, Schott, I believe is, and they're out of New York. Let's grab that vest to the right there.
Okay.
The one to the right. And that's also by Schott. And this one, this vest here has 5 buttons. Okay, 5 buttons. The one I have on right now has 3. And this is a slightly different color, a little more like oxblood or a little more burgundy into it.
Yeah.
And I like this one as well. And it fits me really, really well. Nice leather in it. And of course, this one is also made in USA. You really can't see. Where's the
NYC.
yeah
Medium.
medium, and then there was a tag somewhere, but oh well. It is, this one is made in USA, as is the one that I have on. And so yeah, okay, so I need an opinion on what you think about this 5-button vest. I guess I should try it on.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we got to move that chair out again. And let's see here.
I'll change
And
to
yeah, cut to that camera. So what we'll do is we'll switch out.
show and tell.
So you can put this one back over there, over yonder. We'll put this one
So
on.
you're gonna wear that one.
We'll put this one on. Well, I'm gonna try the other one too. The Willis and Geiger. Okay. So here's this one. All right. And again, this trust me, these will button. And when you button up a vest, it should be snug. It shouldn't be loose. Okay. It should be relatively snug. It shouldn't be uncomfortably snug. Okay, and you leave the last button unbuttoned. So that's a 5-button version. Okay, that's a 5-button version. All right, again, kind of warms you up on a fall day, keeps you nice and warm, feels good. The leather feels good. You just kind of stroke it a little bit, you know. And so then, they probably can't hear me very well because I'm so far from that mic, but it is what it is. Then this one is a Willis and Geiger. Willis and Geiger, all right. And it has a zipper pocket inside. This is also made in USA, but there are a lot of them, a lot of these around now that are made in China. So be very careful. All right, so this is the Willis and Geiger, and this has a different buttoning system here. Okay. And again, this is something you would almost never button. Okay. So this is the Willis and Geiger, and this is a much softer feeling leather, much softer, but they both feel really nice on. So let me know, and let's go back to the original one, the dark brown Schott that I had on, and this time I'll button it because I didn't button that one before. Okay, so this is again the one that I had on initially, and it's lighter weight. It's lighter weight than the other Willis and Geiger, and a little bit lighter than the other Schott. And this one is a little bit more snug, yeah, but it will work. It'll button up. Okay. I could stand to lose just a couple pounds. Okay. So That, of course, back in the day, this would have been fitting perfect, absolutely perfect. Just lose it, just a little tad, a little touch there. So this is a 3-button version. Okay, so let's get back in here and see what they say. Okay. All right.
Show and tell.
This chair should be a little bit more forward, but it's hard to pull it forward while I'm sitting on it. There we go. Because it sinks into the carpet here. We've got carpet here, and it sinks into the carpet. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we got all that done. We got comments in the house. Greg, okay. All right, we talked about always a good place to visit this time of year, complete with original vintage British motorcycles in the store. Whoa, that's cool. Kyle's announced, Craig, was anything still made with quality into the 90s, or were most companies outsourcing their manufacturing? It was a transition. There were some companies that held out as long as possible. But yes, some of them were definitely. I think Willis and Geiger was still holding out for quite a while there. But they all transitioned at different times. And it seems like the last 20 years or so, since the year 2000, it really has gone downhill. That's my take on it. I like the burgundy color. Okay.
Me too.
Thoughts on Elon trying to stop world hunger? The best way to stop world hunger is to end all the silly shutdowns and let people get back to work and let things get back to normal. Are those 5.11 tactical bench? Yes, these are 5.11. These are shorts that I'm wearing right now, and these are 100% nylon. I'm not a big fan of synthetic fibers for clothing, but this is where I make the exception. I really do like the nylon 5.11 tactical pants. I normally wear Bill's khakis when I'm out meeting a client or something like that. But if I'm hiking or doing something where I just want extreme comfort, I like to wear shorts. That's why the UPS men always wear shorts, right, whenever they can, because it's just more comfortable to get around in shorts. Even if it's a little chilly, as long as your upper body's warm, you're going to be okay. And so I do like the 5.11 shorts and 100% nylon. They are tricky to find, however. Most of them are the polyester and cotton blend, and those pill, and there's issues with them. So be careful there. But yeah, that's it. The 5.11 100% nylon are the ones you want to look for. Craig, if GS started manufacturing in China, would you drop the brand going forward? I wouldn't buy one. I wouldn't buy one. And I even prefer, like, for example, when I have a choice between a lens, like a Sony lens that's made in Japan, and one that's made in Indonesia or somewhere else. They don't usually use China, but it's possible they could for the cheaper lenses. But I always prefer the ones made in Japan, just like my Prius was made in Japan. I think most of the LS sedans, the Lexus, I think a lot of the Lexus models are still made in Japan, but I know the big LS sedan was for many, many years. And so, yes, if I can open that door and I can look inside and it says it's made in Japan, I feel much better. Now, like Camrys and things like that are often made in the USA. Again, if I have the choice, like my Prius, it's made in Japan, it's like perfect. Kyle says, I wear shorts every day practically. Yes, I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit.
Comfortable that way.
So now why did you bring the knives, Bree? You're going to start wearing this knife, right?
Yeah.
When you hike.
When I put it on my belt and stuff.
Yeah, in the mountains, when you're in the rugged terrain.
Yeah.
You're gonna use this knife, and so yeah, it's not a super expensive knife, but it's a nice fixed blade. Yeah, I think that's a good choice for you. It's a nice size. It's not too heavy, and but this one, why did you bring this one? This is just kind of like a cheap decorative knife, but you like this for your a costume or something?
Yeah. And it's not real, right?
Well, it's just a cheap like costume type. It's a, yeah, I mean it would cut
It
you.
would cut you.
It's but it's a cheap blade. Um, let's see. Lexus GS exclusive to Japan manufacturing plant. One of the appeals to me, best car decision I've ever made. Big move. Yeah, I had a GS 300. A what year was that? Was it a 1999? Yeah, I think it was a 1999 GS 300. That was the first year of that new body style when they changed the body style. That's the inline six it had, front engine, rear drive. Really nice car. That one, my ex-wife ended up with. I actually bought that for my ex-wife.
What?
That I think it was like $39,000 or something. I don't remember the exact price, but
Oh,
anyway, we bought that. We bought that the same time we bought I bought the Date 8 and the Lady Date with diamonds, and we bought that Lexus at the same time. We made a bunch of money on some of the .com stocks before the .com bubble burst in the year around early 2000. We made a bunch of money on three of the online trading stocks: E-Trade, Ameritrade, and the other one was three initials. I forget which stock it was, but we just made a killing on those stocks and just took a
really
small
good.
portion of that and bought the Lexus and the two Rolexes. So that's how that whole thing went down. Kyle's in the house. I think the ES and Camrys, among other vehicles made in the USA now, unfortunately. And Prius, I would have thought Craig is a Cadillac. I had Cadillacs back in the day. I love the Cadillac Fleetwood. I had a 1965 Fleetwood. I had a 1966 Fleetwood. I had a 1971 Fleetwood Brougham. And I had a 1977 seven-passenger sedan Fleetwood. They call it a limousine, but it was technically a seven-passenger sedan because it didn't have a division window.
So is it like large? Like,
Yeah, it's just an elongated Cadillac. It had jump seats in the back and all. Seven-passenger, could carry seven people. It was
oh,
great
okay.
for towing the boat. We used it for towing the
Oh,
boat,
okay.
and it was much better than using something like an SUV or something. Is that knife legal? Looks more than five fingers. It's legal for now here in the United States, but God knows what they'll do as
Yeah.
time goes forward. But my ES was made in Japan. There you go. Absolutely. No, gee, should have got that car
From the
back from the
ex-wife.
ex-wife. I prefer the LS sedan personally. Yeah, I prefer the LS sedan, but oh, I'm not an Indian giver. If I give gifts, then they stick. They stick. Right, Bree? If I give somebody a gift, that's just a gift.
It'll end up being the gift. It'll
Yeah,
it'll end up with that person.
yeah, yeah. So we were just talking about that earlier today, being in baby step number 7.
Yeah. Well, you got to be like generous, but
Yeah, baby step
when you're
number
in baby
7,
step
you can
number
be
7.
outrageously generous. Tim says, back in the 50s and 60s, Japan produced cheap, mass manufactured, poor quality goods, but over time became the best quality in the world. Craig, could the same happen in China in the next 20 years? Well, China, they are capable of building some decent items. Spyderco has some knives that they make there that are pretty damn good. The problem is that the reason most companies outsource is to cut costs. And so generally what they end up doing is they end up not only cutting the labor costs by outsourcing to somewhere like China, but then they go ahead and cut other corners too. It's just been my experience that that's just what they do. These companies are just greedy. I don't know. They just want to cut any cost they can. And right down to like the thread they use to sew on buttons. I mean, it's just very sad what they do. And see, when they're paying for more expensive labor, like if they're having it made here in the United States and they're paying for that more expensive labor, they tend to go ahead and spend the money on the other materials too, because they're already spending a lot more on the labor. So they up the quality of the other materials and then charge a premium price for it. And so you end up getting a much better product. That's just been my experience. and we'll see how it all plays out. But a lot of outsourcing is now moving away from China to other places where there's even cheaper labor, right? Vietnam and other places. So, uh, and so it goes. Bree, do you think Craig should upgrade the Prius and get a side
sportier car.
sportier car?
No, I think the Prius is fine.
You like the Prius?
I like the Prius.
Yeah, and it's
it
convenient.
runs smoothly too.
It's convenient. Yeah. Kyle's in the house. Tim, that reminds me of how Doc from Back to the Future thought Japanese goods were trash. Marty had to educate him. There you go. These guys are on top of things.
Another good thing, another benefit of the Prius is that you can put a lot of things in it, like the Segway.
Oh my gosh.
The camera equipment.
We load a lot of stuff in the back.
Tripods.
We load a lot of stuff in that puppy. And see, because it is so aerodynamic, that's what makes it quiet going down the highway.
Yeah.
It helps with the noise to have something that's that aerodynamic. It was one of the most aerodynamic cars ever made at the time it was produced, even more aerodynamic than like a Ferrari, for example. And that was one of the reasons why it was so quiet, right? And why it's so fuel efficient. So yeah, let's see. Kyle in the house. I will answer for Bree because she's wrong. Yes, Craig, you should absolutely get a sports car.
You are
alive on Earth once. I've had a bunch of sports cars. Been there, done that.
I
got the T-shirt. I want something that's really comfortable, that has a comfortable seating position, and that is trouble-free. And so that's why if I do change cars from what I have now, it would be something like an LS sedan, like a Lexus LS sedan.
Yeah.
And as far as a Land Cruiser, you know, the thing with SUVs is they just don't ride that great. I mean, if you compare a Toyota Land Cruiser to a Lexus LS 430, for example, and just ride in both of them, I mean, it's like, yeah, the Land Cruiser's a fantastic vehicle, but it ain't going to compare to an LS sedan. I don't care if it's an LS 430, LS 460. I would not get the newer one. The newer LSs, they've kind of screwed them up. They've kind of made them too complicated, and they've got issues. They put like low profile tires on them and stuff, trying to make them a little sportier and all that nonsense. And they've basically screwed the pooch on that. So I would get a, like about a 10-year-old LS 460 from a little old lady who kept it in the garage since new and didn't drive much. That's what I would do. And they're around. You can find those. Back to the Future, what great films. Yeah. Did you see those? Back to the Future?
I probably saw part of it.
You might have. Yeah, but you don't remember. Yeah. Get a Lexus LS. That is Rich approved. The Prius doesn't suit you. Go for the top. Go for Lexus.
Yes, it does.
And we're talking about, you're thinking about an LS sedan. Yeah, you're thinking about an LS sedan to use to drive back and forth to Florida, because you want to spend some time in Florida also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't like planes, so.
Because that's a great road car. The LS is a great road car.
I've seen some videos and it looks like it runs like.
Oh, trust me.
Like you're on clouds and stuff.
Trust me.
That's how they
described it. They're just amazing cars. Hey,
how are you guys doing? What's your favorite food?
Speed Production. Is he one of your subscribers?
I guess. What's GTX?
No, G says Tesla. Yeah, Tesla has serious quality control issues. I would not get near a Tesla. They've got all kinds of issues. And here's the sad thing. The sad thing is, this thing just did its thing. Oh well. The sad thing is, an electric car should be extremely reliable. You're getting rid of all kinds of moving parts. My gosh, an electric motor has one moving part, the armature, right? I mean, you're getting rid of literally thousands of moving parts that are in a typical gasoline engine, right? The thing should be bulletproof reliable, all right? But somehow Elon Musk has managed to not do that. Managed to have a car that is unreliable and has all kinds of issues. Even years later, he's never been able to get the quality control issues under control. And so as a
I mean, the
consequence,
car looks cool and all,
yeah, but I
but
mean, I don't want something that
just
is like,
not.
gives trouble all the time. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
it's
it's
just not.
expensive to maintain it
Yeah,
too.
I mean, yeah, I'd just buy the Lexus sedan, and gasoline is still relatively cheap, so it's not a problem. Yeah, so it's $4 to $5 a gallon. I mean, my gosh, you can buy you can buy a beautiful LS sedan for probably 25, 30 grand. A year ago it would have been 15 or 20 grand, but prices of everything have gone up, right? Because of the fiat money printing. But 25, 30 grand, you can get a beautiful LS sedan, and you can buy all the gasoline you ever need for the amount of money you save over buying a Tesla. So yeah, that's what I would do. Does Bree plan on spending time in Sarasota, Florida?
Yeah, of
she's
course.
she's not. Bree's no dummy. she
I love the weather.
she wasn't born yesterday. The day
Do you
before
think?
yesterday, but not yesterday. You think Tesla stock will fall soon? I don't know. That's a good question. I think all the stocks will probably fall.
Except for
Bree,
Bitcoin.
if you go to Florida, be careful
Of your
of your
laundry.
laundry.
Yeah.
Corey's in the house. What's all this talk about Japanese junk? Buy American. I have worn Rolex for over 40 years and am rocking
My
my
Shots
Shot
Cafe
Cafe
Racer
racer
made.
made in New York. Craig, you just don't get it. There you
Who
go.
is this guy?
He's a mover and shaker. So what else? What else are we missing that we haven't talked about? Oh my gosh, there was a guy in one of the watch forums. Oh my gosh.
They
And
don't learn.
he was talking about buying he saved up money and he wants to buy his first luxury watch. And he's talking about buying a Tudor. And I said, "My gosh," I said, "Please, please back away from the keyboard. Don't buy the Tudor. Just save up a little more money, buy something decent, or just take the money and put it in Bitcoin, let it double or triple, and then buy something decent." But here's a guy that's pretty much broke. He's just saved up enough money to buy a Tudor. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I just don't get the whole Tudor thing. But oh God.
They're just so desperate. Like they just gotta
And
wait.
Kyle's in the house. He says, and Tech says Tesla has too many bells and whistles. They just don't get things right. They just don't get things right. The cars give too much trouble. That's the issue we have there. Um,
The new
the
LS
new
is
and
just
by the
flat
way,
out
the seats
ugly.
are like it's like you're in a buckboard. Those things are not comfortable, and the back seat is not comfortable in the Lexus. There's no
Whoa.
padding, not Lexus, in the Tesla. There's no padding in those damn seats. See, they did everything they could to make the thing lightweight, right? To be efficient and all this stuff. And it's a nightmare. It's like you're in a buckboard when you're riding in those damn
Oh
things.
my god.
No, I mean maybe for a youngster that likes to get beat around all the time, but no, I would pass on that. I'd get a Lexus LS sedan with the nice thick seats, real thick and a lot of padding. That's what I want. Like my
Comfort.
65 Cadillac Fleetwood,
Comfort.
the seats were like this thick, right? Let's pull up a picture. Go to my
Flicker.
Flickr and search Fleetwood, FLEETWOOD. Kyle says the new LS is just flat out ugly. No one is buying it either. Must go for the previous gen. Oh my gosh, yes. Kyle, have you seen the inside glass thing that they put on the doors? They're eye catching. Okay. Um, Craig, are you certain that you're done having fun with cars? The LS is extremely nice, but you have to admit there's no fun there. Oh, they're great to drive. They're great to drive. And again, when I'm on the highway, when I'm moving down the highway, I want quiet. I want comfort. I want to feel like when I get to my destination, I want to feel like I've just like literally driven around the block. I want to feel refreshed, comfortable. Because
Right.
for me, it's making the trip in luxury and comfort. That's what it's about. Okay, so that's the 71 Fleetwood that you're showing there, and that's the 65. Can we get one? Keep going. See if we can see the interior. There we go. See those seats?
Dang.
Those seats were so comfortable. Now that one has the brocade, right? That one's not leather; it's cloth, right? But it was in, of course, perfect condition, and of course, it has a tilt and telescope steering wheel. But that thing, when you sat in that car and you went on a road trip in that puppy, it was literally like you were driving down the road in your living room.
Oh
I
my
mean, it
god.
was like, yeah, that's what they should still build. And there's a 66 Fleetwood there. That was my buddy's 66 Fleetwood. That was at the Rockville Car Show. And of course, notice the phone that I'm holding in my hand, the Motorola 8000X phone. That was the first commercially available cell phone, was the 8000X. And of course, that's a Burberry shirt that I have on. So yeah, this guy says, well, he didn't dress like that back in the day. He didn't wear Ray-Bans or any of that stuff. He's just talking. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there you go. There's a
Is that
Photoshop.
an alligator belt or
Yeah,
what?
that's an alligator belt. There's a photoshopped photo of me wearing khakis next to a 66 Cadillac. So yeah. Oh wait, I think I've lost track of the comments here. Let's see. Going to the LA Auto Show in November. Shop for the next car. There you go. Cars are short supply. Yes, I saw the glass and it's pretty cool, but the exterior is too much for me. Yes. I don't understand how Tesla can have quality control issue when it's just running with batteries. I know it makes no sense. It makes no sense, but they sure do. Um, Lexus LS, what cars is this? I remember back in the day, Bill McDonald trying to compare it to my dad's Rolls in the 90s. Poor Bill had a few loose screws. Okay.
Oh
And
god.
Rolls Royce does not break down. It simply fails to proceed. It simply fails to proceed. Yeah,
Shoot.
that's what a Rolls Royce does. It fails to proceed. I'm seeing more and more Teslas on the road here in Melbourne. Yes, they're selling well. Um,
Still have
Still
the
have the
fleets.
Fleetwoods. No, I don't. I don't have the Fleetwoods, unfortunately. That thing probably weighs as much as my living room, the grid. That's why they're so comfortable going down the road. They float. Musk has become the first to 300 billion today, richest person in history. There you go. Well, no, I don't know if I would say that. I don't know if I would say that. If you look at the purchasing power that like Rockefeller had and people like that back in the day, and Dale Carnegie, not Dale Carnegie, Andrew Carnegie, his
Andrew
dad.
Carnegie.
If you look at the money that they had at their peak and the things that they could do with that money, the purchasing power, like the Biltmore mansion that Vanderbilt made down there in North Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina. I don't think that even with all his money that Elon Musk could do that today. I don't think he could do that today. First of all, he doesn't own a railroad, right? And so Vanderbilt was able to leverage his railroad. He literally built a railhead into there and built an entire town with all the craftsmen and all the people that were needed to build
Whoa.
that thing. And they literally worked years building that place. First of all, he bought like a couple 100,000 acres to start with, right? you know, I don't think that Musk could buy a couple 100,000 acres in near Asheville, North Carolina today, right, with his money,
No.
right? And so there's things that those guys did back in the day that
That would
I
outperform,
don't think people like Musk could do today. I
outstand.
don't think they could do it
Yeah.
today. And not to mention all the other houses, the house that he had in Newport, Rhode Island, the house that they had on Fifth Avenue. They had a house on Fifth Avenue that I think was turned into like Saks Fifth Avenue or something, right? I mean, it was such a big house, right? It turned into a department store. So no, I really don't think that you could say he was the richest of all time. Not in purchasing power, and that's what matters. Let's see. Arwag says fails to
See?
proceed is a phase found in the Rolls Royce owner's handbook. That's correct. They do not break down. They just simply fail to proceed. Porsche 911 is the perfect daily. That and the Rolex with a Cuban. My father taught me a lesson. Never touch the wheel of a Rolls. To this day, my father has never driven his own Rolls. There you go. That's right. Um,
I learned to drive my
Er,
dad's
I
Rolls
learned to
and my
drive my
driver
dad's
Watson.
Rolls and our driver. Oh,
Watson.
okay. Um, all right. So, okay. So what else? Have we
Oh,
kind
I
of covered
wanted I wanted
everything?
to show my Bitcoin watch.
Okay. Yeah. This is kind of cool. Yeah. The thing that's neat about Bitcoin is, and do you have a photo you can bring up on your
Yeah,
Flickr?
Flickr.
The thing that's neat about Bitcoin is Bitcoin has zero. The advertising and promotion and PR budget for Bitcoin is zero. Okay, $0. And so Bitcoin relies on volunteers to do all the marketing and all the public relations, right? And what's kind of neat is this guy created a Kickstarter and he had this watch designed, by some company that's willing to make watches with whatever you want on them and so on. And this has the neat little Bitcoin logo on it, and it's a pretty solid watch. The movement is made in Japan. It is a quartz movement, and it has a chronograph, but the chronograph you wind up manually, right? And so, but it's a nice clean dial. And it has Bitcoin and Coin Vigilante on there, which is his company. And so there it is. That's a little bit out of focus, but I guess that's the best we can do.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so it's just kind of a fun watch. Yeah, we need some sharper photos. You don't have any sharper photos of just the watch up?
Not yet.
We need to get some and take some. Okay. We'll have to do that. But anyway, I think it's kind of neat. It's kind of solid feeling. And for somebody who wants a conversation starter, right? Something to wear, and somebody sees that Bitcoin logo on there. Hey, what's that all about? I think that's kind of
Oh, that's
cool.
better.
And it also it came with a stainless steel bracelet, and it's got a quick change straps on the bracelet as well as the strap. It's quick change. So yeah, I think it's kind of cool, and the leather strap actually feels pretty good. Now he's selling these for $300, so they're not cheap. He
I
sent this
know.
one to Bree as a
As a
gift.
gift
He
for
sent
being
this
on his
one.
show.
Yeah, he sent this one to Bree. But
So
pull up the Kickstarter for this.
yeah.
And Bree has
And I
a
just posted a video about the Bitcoin watch on
and
my
yeah, and
my
she
channel.
he just Bree just posted a video. But it's really a
Hey
solid
guys.
feeling, good looking watch. I mean, and for $300, you should be able to get a solid watch. I mean, some people say that it only costs Rolex about $300 to make one of their watches, one of their steel watches, right? So, so there it is. They've already achieved their goal. Their
So
goal was
Bit
25,000.
Bitcoin and
They've gotten
Litecoin.
more than double that. And you can get either a Bitcoin or Litecoin one. Scroll down and show them the purchasing options. They're on the right. Yeah, so
You
they're
could pledge
220 or more.
220.
You get one watch. That's 25% off the retail. And then you can buy two watches for 425. So it's a Kickstarter thing. So pretty cool, I say. Pretty cool. Let's see. Triforce in the house. Craig, don't advertise shitter watches even if they have BTC branding. Just get Breeze GS engraved with BTC, or have the dial modified to have BTC after the fall. It's already a lost cause. Well, see, here's the thing. I mean, this isn't for me or for Bree. I mean, this is just something for people that want something fun to promote Bitcoin,
Yeah.
and that might otherwise not even wear a watch. This obviously isn't for a serious watch person,
Right, right.
but I think it's for what it is. It's got a signed crown with the little B, little Bitcoin B on there. I think it's cool. And like I say, the thing that's really cool about this is the fact that Bitcoiners promote Bitcoin, and that there is no budget to promote Bitcoin, that Bitcoiners do it on their own because they believe in the whole concept. They believe in freedom. And so they're willing to go out of their way to promote So I think that's what's really cool about this whole thing. It can be embroidered clothing. It can be the Bitcoin signet ring like I have on right here. It can be whatever you're doing to orange pill people, to, educate people about Bitcoin. And if wearing a watch
And it has a
gets
B in it, and
get
it's like it
yeah,
stands for my name,
it, yeah, and
Bitcoin,
if wearing the watch
BriFitDance.
starts a conversation
They're like, oh,
and
is
get
that B
somebody
for
into
Brie?
Bitcoin, you might
Like,
save their
no,
life, for gosh sakes.
that's
This could
Bitcoin.
literally save somebody's life. Somebody needs to make a watch that doesn't tell the time but counts down to the next halving and final Bitcoin to be minted. Hey, that's a
Oh,
cool point.
idea.
I agree with you. However, land is comparatively much more expensive now. For example, my grandfather purchased a brand new house here in Los Angeles for less than a year's salary in the 1950s. Yes, well, see, that's the thing. The purchasing power of the US dollar has declined significantly. I mean, like 97% of the purchasing power has declined in the last 100 years or whatever. So you've literally lost 97% of your purchasing power, right? And now more than that. I mean, it's you may have lost pretty much all of it at the rate they're printing. So, yeah, you've got to compare purchasing power. You can't look at dollars because, $300 billion. I mean, it used to be back in the day, $1 million was a big deal. If you were a millionaire, it was a big freaking deal.
Oh
Right
yeah.
now, it's just like you can barely get by if you've got $1 million. So today the same house would be over $2 million, a lifetime of work for a normal person. Yeah, that's what we've got going on. I think that is a good point, says Kyle. Tell the guy that wants a tutor to buy this and keep saving for a real uh, luxury watch. Good point. Good point.
Yep.
Um, I think they need to change the name from
Bitcoin or
Bitcoin to
Bitcoin.
BriCoin. They are thinking about it. They are actually talking about that.
Satoshi isn't here, so they
What
can't
else were
really.
we going to? What else were we going to show?
Um, think I think that's
Because
it.
we're going to wrap it up fairly soon. Fairly soon. Um,
And no emails.
no emails.
Interesting.
Interesting for sure. Check the updates right there. See. Um, is this? We're still logged in as me. Got it. So nothing important there.
Nothing
Just a bunch of
important.
just garbage. Okay. All right. So let's see.
The
Our first
more
Rich. The more I think about it, the more it becomes a better idea to move out to Frederick and turning it into a BTC town. Craig, do you have an extra room? Triforce Rich in the house. Um, I don't think you know. I don't think you're serious. But if you're serious, we will talk. We will talk. We can make room, right? We can figure it out. Um,
figure it out.
let's see here, Craig. The inside of your house reminds me so much of the inside of the Jobe Ramsey house in Boulder. How big is your basement? I don't have a big basement, and that is good because it would be filled with junk if I had a big
Oh
basement.
yeah, more
So,
junk.
and the house down in Florida doesn't have a basement either. So,
Does it have an attic?
and yes, it has an attic. Yes, and we have an attic here, and so, but yeah, and I'm not a big one on basements, and believe it or not, in North Carolina, also basements are not that popular. Basements are a cheap way to get square footage, but they also can tend to have some issues, with water um,
Plumbing.
ingress and
Yeah.
other issues. And a lot of times they're not a great place to hang out. They're kind of musty and
Some
kind
people
of
actually rent basements.
Yeah, some people, some trolls live in a basement.
Yes.
They live in a basement.
Their mom's basement.
Let's see. Reza, do you ever check your basement? Could be a homeless living there. Good point. Triforce Rich, if the world is turning against us, then we throw our own curveballs. No, I'm thinking about it. This country was made by pioneers. Frederick can be the new land of opportunity. Well, I mean, it could be. It could be. Yeah, Frederick.com could spearhead something interesting. Craig, you need a well-trained guard dog. Well, dogs can be high maintenance too. So, yeah, we have a team of experts for taking care of our security here. Basically, this whole town is an armed camp, and so it's very difficult to infiltrate and to pierce our perimeter. Very, very difficult. And we have layers of security as well, so it
Yeah.
would be very difficult. All right, I think we're going to wrap it up because I'm getting hungry, and when I get hungry, I start
Me
getting mean.
too.
Yeah, I start getting mean when I get hungry. So, um,
Oh, I got
have
this
you
at Goodwill. I
have
went
you
to Goodwill
seen
yesterday.
have you seen the new $130,000 Casio G-Shock? So there's a Casio G-Shock for 130,000. No, I don't think I've seen that. That is
What do you think
wild.
about Casios?
What's on the menu? What are we eating tonight?
I don't know, lettuce. Wait, not
We
lettuce.
we
It's
don't have
spinach.
any more spinach. We're out. We're out of almost everything because we got to go tomorrow to
Tomatoes,
Costco. We'll have tomatoes. We'll have
potatoes,
sweet potato, tomatoes, avocado,
avocado,
maybe
chicken,
some salmon. You'd rather have chicken or salmon?
chicken,
Some chicken,
mustard, hemp seeds.
something like that. And then you've got that dish you brought from your mom.
Yes,
You've got that really cool dish.
Ecuadorian dish.
An Ecuadorian dish that she brought. Okay, we're going to have to wrap this up. Biggest race in the Southern Hemisphere today, the Melbourne Cup. For the record, I pick Trail Rose for the win, but can't get with HTC. Okay. Let's see here.
I like Brit Goodwill finds yesterday on the Halloween stream.
There you go. It's a pure gold G-Shock. Wow.
I mean, bet with BTC.
Okay. Reza. Okay. Don't forget the beans. Yeah, we're not going to have beans this time, but I'm gonna start cooking more beans as it gets cold. I start using my slow cooker, my crock pot to cook beans, and so in the wintertime I cook more of those. So we're gonna start doing that here pretty soon. It's been relatively mild, the weather here. It hasn't really been that cold.
We're getting prepared because I got a lot of coats.
But you're ready. You've got
I'm
some
ready.
warm coats, some nice cashmere coats.
Tweed coat.
The tweed coat, the cashmere coat.
Wool
You've
coat.
got the
shearling.
Do you have your pictures
Shearling
you can
coat.
show of the coats?
Yeah. Not that. Let's see here.
Yeah, we'll show these and then we'll wrap it up.
Wrap
if you've got them, do you have the coat? Yeah, there's some coat pictures.
Wrap it up. Okay.
That's the black cashmere.
I think that's the longest.
Yeah, that's the black. No, the tweed one's longer.
The tweed one is.
There's the tweed one.
That's the tweed one, yeah.
And there's the cashmere purple.
I like this one.
It's not quite as heavy as the other two. That's the longest one. That's really classy. I like that coat.
And it was yours, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a lady's coat.
Ladies' coat.
But it was in my closet.
Okay.
And I gave it to you. So now it's yours. And that's a shearling. That's a beautiful shearling coat.
I like this one.
Absolutely gorgeous. Really classy.
Yeah. So.
Which do you like of all of them? Which one do you like the most?
I don't know.
They're all just stunning.
I think the shearling one because it's more practical, you know.
And Triforce Rich says, How do you keep men off Brie at Costco? Do you bring the Indiana Jones whip? Yes, I come ready.
Prepared.
I come ready for trouble. Whenever we leave the compound here, we go heavy. We're ready for trouble, for sure. And we always mix up which vehicle we are in the caravan. We always mix it up, so they never really know. So shearling is classy as. There you go. All right.
All right.
Yes. And Bree has a way of making just about anything look classy. So on that note, we're going to let you guys go. Is it 3? 3's the stunner. That's the time check. We've been going for about an hour, almost a full hour.
Alrighty,
We
guys.
did start a minute or two late, but we're going to wrap it up. And thank you guys for watching. We will do this again
Thank you, guys.
sometime.